Right. Well, welcome everyone. It's nice to have you part of another agent-led session, a session where I reach out to a variety of our top performing agents and see how they became what they are today. Now, for us, we see success as something that we all want to achieve. When we see an agent at a high level of success, we almost have this little innate inside of us that says, hey, I want to be like them. I want that success. But the truth of it is, if we pull the curtain back, success isn't what just happens when you see an award that's given. The success that you see is years of hard work. It's years of sometimes struggles. It's years of sometimes going, why am I doing this? And then there's also years where this is why I'm doing it. But the journey that actually takes you to become a successful agent is a very interesting one. And it's all wrapped into little elements, which basically includes a human being. It also includes a variety of actions that needs to be taken. So joining me on the call today is, and I see the camera's gone off, but that's fine. Joining me today, it is James and Shelley. And why I'm so happy is I got to know them personally going down to their offices in Quebec. And what an amazing couple. So James and Shelley, thank you for joining me. How are you both doing today?
We good?
Yeah, good. Very privileged to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, absolutely. So what's so nice, amazing is James is actually one of the only kind of the people within eXp that actually has his own office for his agents. And the reason why I wanted both Shelley and James into this particular session is the model that James has actually created, which is the team structure, working as a husband and wife, which for many go, oh my gosh, this is scary. This is an amazing journey, an amazing story. So really what I want to do is I want to jump out and I want to get to know who is James and Shelley before real estate. So Shelley, I would like to start with you. Who was Shelley before real estate? What did she do?
I have no idea who I was before real estate. Literally. So I was in the food industry most of my life. And it was a big passion of mine. But then when you do it for a living, your passion slowly gets squashed till it's absolutely nothing, and hated every minute of it. So yeah, it was, I've owned my own business, I've worked for people, I've done quite a lot. Somebody looked at my CV, I don't even have to, but somebody looked at what I've done through the years and they're like, oh my gosh, you have really done a lot of stuff. So I've done a lot of, I've been involved in a lot of jobs, which are vary from walking people's dogs overseas to literally owning something business. So yeah, that was me before real estate, and literally I didn't know who I was, but have very I have really found myself in real estate, I must say.
I love that. Walking dogs overseas, and you kind of go, how does a person that walks dogs become part of a very successful team? So James, jumping onto yourself, who was James before real estate?
Sure. So it's a long way back because I've been in real estate for about 21 years now. And I see he said the sound is not good. Is it not good for you, Stuart?
It breaks up every now and again, but we can still hear you. Obviously, it's the echo of your room, but that's fine. Carry on.
Sorry.
Power outage in PE, and I think it might be affecting our Wi-Fi.
No problem. No
So
problem.
20 years ago, and before that, I was involved in advertising and marketing. I lived up in the Big Smoke in Johannesburg, the scary place that it is. And I ran a reasonably successful below-the-line advertising agency. And then I decided to get out of that industry, and I moved down to the beautiful town of Knysna, where I settled for a few years, and that's where my love of property started. I bought a guest house with my family, and invested in a few properties, and that's where my interest in property started. So I developed a few single residential homes and sold them for a few years, and then 2005, 6, 7 came, and I suddenly couldn't sell those properties anymore. So I thought, well, let me try a different side of the business, and I came to Port Elizabeth in 2006 and registered as an estate agent, did my exams. So it's been a 20-year journey from kind of all angles.
And it's an amazing journey that we always hear. We are all human beings. We did things before real estate. We actually did things that for many of us will go, you did that? How did you become a successful agent? But now with your journey coming together, when was it that yourself and Shelley and James, when did that spark happen to actually work together as a team in real estate? When did that actually happen?
So I was already, if I don't mind me starting, I was already in, obviously 16 years in when Shelley joined 4 years ago. And that was pretty much, I think she'll tell you the story, but I've been with eXp for a few months, and we started, we did our first Model Explained event, invited 100 agents. I was incredibly nervous in a beautiful location. Stood up, had to say a few things in front of everyone. Had Steve Johnson there doing the Model Explained, a few other speakers. And the night went off quite well, and I think Shelley can tell the rest of the story.
Well, Stuart, you will know I never saw myself getting into real estate. Being with James and watching the industry, it was something that did not interest me in the slightest. But after Steve did the Model Explained, and I only went there to support James because he was so nervous, and I just thought, wow, this is something that I could do. So I dived right in, and no looking back. I love it.
Brilliant. And I love that. No looking back, going together into this, because one thing that we must remember is in real estate, the security of an income is not there. We're commission-based. So taking that leap and bound of faith to actually move forward into this particular industry, it can create levels of stress and anxiety. So James, back to you. Over the last 4 years, working with Shelley as a husband and wife, but also with a much bigger team, there must be certain challenges that come across that, you're bringing it from the office, you're bringing it to home. You're still talking about real estate at 2 o'clock in the morning when you can't sleep. It's almost a 24-hour cycle. How do you overcome those challenges? And those challenges, what are those big benefits of actually being a married couple in this industry?
Yeah, Stuart, there are challenges, and I have to book a coffee with my wife to see her, or have things like this. I can actually touch and feel it. And we're ships in the desert. We took the very conscious decision a few years ago when Shelley joined that she would focus on the sales side of things, which is the cash flow, which is important, and I would focus on growing a team and the revenue share side, which eXp offers to all its agents. Because at some stage, many of you will know my story, that I've been in the industry for 20 years, and I feel like I would like to exit it at some stage and not have to worry about chasing the next commission check when you wake up and starting at zero all the time. So that was kind of what we planned. It doesn't always go to plan, but I think as we progressed through the years and the months, our roles have become more kind of defined.
And I think also in the beginning, we didn't work as a team as such. Like James says, I was doing the sales and he was team. Whereas over the years, it has definitely kind of blended together and I've realized different roles. Sorry.
Yeah, and I think that's yes, Shelley will be busy in the evenings and on weekends, and we've got a 12-year-old child, Jimmy, who our reason for all of this. And so I often do the evening things, the family evening things with Shelley's out on views, and we just kind of embraced it. And we're very focused on going away together. So our goal's always a little escape, even if it's a long weekend or a week away, where then we kind of focus purely on our family time. So it's fluid. There's no master plan, but we kind of just fit in where we can.
Yeah, and I think the challenge is, like you said, Stuart, you go from work to home and you don't ever really, and we are always, all our conversations are property. And sometimes I have to say, well, I don't want to talk about property tonight. I just want to talk about nothing. So it can be challenging like that, but luckily we work well together, and I think we both love what we do. So, and also the people aspect that has come into from my side, which I'm going to get into just now, but that also changes dynamics. So we've got a lot in common, which is a great thing, but it can be challenging at the same time.
Absolutely. And I wanted to just add one little element, and James, you touched on this, and Shelley, I know that it's deep in your heart as well. You mentioned Jimmy, and this is something that I know for all of us out there as parents, our kids is our purpose, our big why, the reason why we do that. And I love the fact that, Shelley, you mentioned that, yes, you talk property all the time, but you've got to put your hand up. You've got to learn how to say no. And when you're actually going away for those weekends, I can almost certainly believe it's definitely not talking about property and real estate. It's about family time. And that's something that I've come to feel staying with you guys when I've come down to do the sessions down there. So I wanted to then take this a little bit further. James, you've been involved with growing team. I know you mentioned revenue share, but if we actually take this a little bit further, you've got this big responsibility on your shoulders. You've got an office, you've got staff, you've also got agents that are coming in on a consistent basis. And they see you not only as a performing agent, a person that they can rely on for a mentorship and so forth, but also a person to keep them motivated, a person to keep them with a smile on their face, which I know can take a lot out of you. And the benefit that you've got is with Shelley being with you, you can actually start to balance that to make sure that you keep that high level. But the big question is, how do you maintain that productivity of the agents that are coming into your office so that they don't get into that negative space?
Yeah, Stuart, so I think there's a number of things, and we know we've kind of bounced off each other's strengths and weaknesses.
Exactly. This is where we can talk about.
Yeah, and I think, our team is our people, and our people is what we're building. And we haven't built people by chance. It's been a purposeful mission. And not everyone loves me, but those that don't will love Shelley, and vice versa. So we found it incredibly important to be in communication with our agents. And never mind, we've just come off our weekly meeting, which we have on Wednesday mornings, and it's not a how many sales have you done and a report back. It's a celebration of any successes. It's a lucky draw. It's an update on what's happening at eXp. Everyone gets to see what's happening in the backing. So I think it's really, really relevant to be in amongst your people all the time, to build them up and motivate them. Just this morning, I said to Shelley, I was feeling a little bit down, and I said to her, I need to stop this feeling. And she gave me a little pep talk, and there I was. So it's so important to have people in your life. And we've created little smaller breakaway groups with agents, because we can't always have them as one big group. Things like a rev share group, who those are going to be builders in the organization. We meet weekly. Shelley has incredible teams and multiples of them where she does motivation and sales chats and that. So those little events, and also we get out and we have fun, which is very important for our team. You know, we have a bowls event every couple of months. We have a get together called Bubbles and Giggles, which is champagne and giggles on the last Friday of the month. So it can't always be about work, which we find incredibly important. And people just want to be valued. And Shelley's so good at that.
If I could add to that as well, you know, we look very deeply into, you would have heard us talk about it, all those 4 C's: community, culture, connection. But we find, or if I even look at myself, I joined eXp because I didn't want that person looking over my shoulder all the time, the targets and pushing me in that certain direction. I wanted to be my own boss. But we have found that agents actually feel quite lonely out there on their own. You join because you want to be your own boss, but then you lonely. So creating little groups and having that support system, creating a good culture, celebrating people, lifting them up when they're low, connecting. It's really important, and we find that a lot of agents have seen such a big difference in their growth within sales or whatever it is, just from having a culture like that and connecting with like-minded people. I think these weekly meetings that we have are very important.
And they don't have to be in person; they can be online, you know, or a phone call. You know?
And I love that you sharing that, because 2 of the core values of eXp is collaboration and fun. Those are 2 of the 9 core values that kind of get missed because we're in a business world. Fun is something that you shouldn't be having when you're in the business world. Well, the truth of it is you should be having fun, but collaboration is so, so important, because there's that old saying, nobody succeeds alone. And that little success is so, so important. So when you actually take collaboration and fun and you put it together, that is exactly what you get to experience when you walk into James's office. It is the most amazing feeling. And I get that every time I've been down there. Collaboration and fun, that welcoming. And where does that start? Well, that starts with James and Shelley. They are the 2 that run that particular ship, and they lead by example. I don't think I've ever seen James with a crossbone or a negative comment. There's always a smile, and there's always that welcoming hug from Shelley. And this is such an important factor when you're looking at growing a particular team. And that leads to productivity. So thank you for sharing that and actually showing us what the actual office feeling is like and how we can actually bring that together. But I want to turn this over to another part. And this is something that I got to experience when I came down to you guys. And this was your social media. Having somebody run around taking pictures. And when you follow James on the different social platforms, it's like, James, you're on it permanently. You are an absolute guru when it comes to social media, because we are seeing posts that are absolutely amazing. We are seeing them getting posted on regular intervals, which is like, wow, you must be doing this full time. It must be a huge distraction for you. Like every agent out there, they love social media. What is your secret?
Boy, those 2 little words there. Those are horrible words, social media. And yeah, so we were very intentional again with, I'm more on the boring side, and it's about growth and what about eXp and those sort of things. But we do have a plan with our social media. And I think, Shelley, it's probably better for you to share, because your growth has been incredible.
I just think social media is something that needs to be done. You know, at the beginning of the year, this year, I was like, is it really making a difference? Do we need to do this? It takes a day, and it only takes a day out of a month to get all our social media done. So you just got to book a time to do it. But that day is still a day in your month of work, you know. And I was like, is it worth it? I'm paying money. Like, should I carry on? Is it actually doing anything? And true as Bob, even at eXp Con, I had people come up to me going, love your social media, people that I'd never met or even knew. I had a lady say to me, she messaged me saying, your social media posts make me giggle on a dreary day in London. And just in the last few weeks, I've had so many people saying something like that. I mean, I'm sure there are lots of people thinking, oh my God, I can't stand her. She's, but getting some feedback was great. And I realized that it is actually doing. So it's getting out of your comfort zone because it was so uncomfortable at the beginning for both of us. And it's still not our place of comfort, but we just get it done. And what we said, done is better than perfect, because it's never going to be perfect. But I think it is beneficial to do, and we do have fun doing it as well.
Yeah, and I think it's now into our second year, and for the first 2 years it was very thankless and we didn't see the results. And like everybody says, you've got to be consistent and carry on, and we've been doing 3 posts a week every month or every week for the last 2 years, and all of a sudden there's traction. So what you read is true. And yeah, don't be perfect, just be authentic. We plan our day of social media with the content. We change clothes, we change venues, so it looks like it's over a spread. So that's a little trick for you guys. And we have a professional doing it with us, which is great, but you can just do it on your own. Or just film yourself going in the car or whatever it is. People love property videos. So if you can and you want to get some traction, use some high quality property videos to get going. Yeah, so that's.
But I think people also, they like those authentic ones where you are just driving in your car. Those get the most views and things like that. It's not the professional one, it's the real one. So.
And like Shelley said, use your children. They bring the most views. Exploit your children.
Use your kids.
And I actually love that, because bringing out the authenticity, that is what social media is actually all about. It's not about the AI driven and all of this fake information that goes out there. People, they kind of see it, but they move away from it. But that authenticity is so important. Now, one key element that Shelley, you shared is this is not a daily distraction. This is something where you take one day in a month and you actually then just compile everything together and actually schedule it so that at least for the rest of the month, you can carry on with the focus of your particular business. And James, you added, which I'm going to say is probably one of the best tips I've ever heard, because the last thing you really want to do is you take 10 videos, but you're wearing the same clothes. Change the clothes. Make sure that it looks like it's something different. Ruffle your hair. I do that every single time so that my hair looks different on every single session. But if you go ahead and just do these little tips and tricks, you can actually create a whole library of actual information. Now, Shelley, I want to just dig a little bit deeper. When you talk about taking a day out of the month to do social media, what does one of those days actually look like?
Coffee, first off, a coffee. So I'll meet up with Natalie, who's our social media guru, and you've got to get your mind right. That's why I think for both James and myself, it's important to have somebody do it for us, because you never feel like doing it. So you committed to meeting her and you committed to actually doing the work. So a day will be meeting her either at the office, and we'll move from here. We will do shoots in different parts of the city. We'll go to businesses and do business interviews. And you know what, by the end of that day, even if I'm in such a grumpy mood and she comes to me with my double shot of coffee and says, "Can you go in a nice, quiet manner?" By the end of that day, you've actually had fun and it's busy. Like, you are exhausted afterwards. Because it does take time. You're changing your clothing, you're driving around, you're talking, you're doing 1,000 takes to get the right one. It's not easy. But by the end of the day, you've actually had fun and it's worth it,
And you do quite a lot of business collabs. And in fact, sometimes she comes home with business. She's talking to business owners, she's doing collabs. they've suddenly got a property to sell. So get out there, just
it's definitely worth it.
get into the cringe space.
Well, that's how you become authentic. The only reason why we call something authentic is the person that's behind the camera has actually got a little bit of nerves inside of them. It feels uncomfortable. That's how you become authentic. If you're up there and you're very prim and you're proper and you're fake, people will see that. But it's that authentic self that's coming through. Now, I absolutely love it. Start with a double coffee to get you going through the day. Even if it's not a great day, a real great tip that you shared is make sure that it's scheduled. Put it into your calendar, schedule that particular day, have a plan of exactly what you're wanting to do in the day, and we'll go out and just do it. Now, once you get all this content back, and Natalie has put this all together, and just obviously for the people that are watching here, both Shelley and James does have Natalie, who does a lot of the photography and the social media, and it is something that you can look into, having somebody to actually do that social media for you, because that is their business. They're the masters at that. And I would strongly recommend, if you get into that position, is definitely find yourself someone that can assist you in that space. Now, once you've got all of this particular content, how is it distributed throughout the week? James, you mentioned 3 posts a week. Do you have any form of format? For instance, it's every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday, every Monday, it's a static image. Do you have any format that you follow, or is it just random and put out there over the month?
So we do follow a program, and that's very much thanks to our social media lady, Natalie. And she's continually researching times to post, when to post, which days to post videos, or which format, whether it's high quality, HD, whatever else. So she will give us 3 posts a week once she's edited them and had a look at them after the filming of them. And we will approve them or change the copy and make a few changes, whatever we need to do. She'll say, this is Mondays, this is Wednesdays, this is Fridays. And that's when we post, Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, different times of the day, which she will research and see which is the best. You could ask ChatGPT, when are the best times to post certain content. We're finding video is essential. Static images are great, but video is the way to go. And to keep it sort of under even 30 seconds, it's really, really effective.
And it is usually Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but she does occasionally post on a weekend though, if she thinks it's relevant on a weekend. And James will often say, why is this not on Saturday? And she'll go, no, because this is the
schedule. And she'll have fillers, so if something exciting happens during the week, she'll post something on a Tuesday or Thursday. But I believe that it's every day or 3 days a week is
Absolutely. So having Natalie is that vital, important person, because not only are they doing the research on the schedules, which I know can be time sapping to sit there and go, what time should I do it on a Monday? On Instagram, it should be this time. On Facebook, it should be this time. Having somebody that can actually produce that and bring that through to you. Now, just as a side note, if you're not in a position to have your own social media, there are a number of platforms and tools out there that can do this for you. You create the videos, and it actually can almost create these short clips of up to 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and you can then put them into these different platforms, and they will then share and schedule them out for you. So it is something that you don't have to do on a manual. And really what I want to underline is not to do it yourself. This is where the distraction, the love of social media comes in. But what happens is you spend so much time on social media, you're actually not spending enough time with your clients or with your actual family. So make sure that you have that comes into the side. So social media, as you can see, is a big part of James and Shelley's business. It's not something that's overnight. It's taken nearly 2 years to get that consistency and start getting that particular traction. So James, I want to go back to the team. And there are a lot of people out there that are looking at either having their spouse join them, so they become a husband and wife team going forward, or looking to bring in agent-led teams. These are agents that are doing the productive, not the revenue share, getting into production. What advice would you give them first from a team structure, agents coming in, what advice would you give someone if they were wanting to set up their team for the very first time?
So Stuart, I think it's, so many people join eXp with the idea of growing a team firstly. And then once they're in and they enjoy the system and the culture and the people and just the commission splits and they get busy with sales, they kind of forget about the revenue share side of things, which is such an incredible wealth building opportunity. And yes, you don't have to have 50,000 Rand a month or 60 or 100, just 5 or 10 can be a game changer for a lot of people, cover your monthly expenses. So I think in terms of production, we've taken a very conscious decision to focus on agents that are already in production. It's not always going to get it right. I mean, lots of people want to join eXp. We're lucky we can bring in newbies and co-sponsor with agents because we've got the training facilities in-house so we can help them become that. But I think building a team, I would suggest you go out there and just approach agents make that list, speak to them. Don't for one moment think that they know everything about eXp or heard about eXp or don't want to find out about eXp. Everybody's got a pain point. And I think eXp can pretty much cover every single one of those. So my lab is sitting in front of people, discovering what their pain point is and solving it for them. So yeah, that would be my tip for growing a productive team. Speak to productive agents, find their pain point. eXp will have a solution.
And I love that. Productive agents is definitely underlined there, identifying their pain points. These are two very, very key areas when you're actually looking at bringing in agents underneath you. And then, Shelley, I want to jump to yourself when it comes to working with your spouse. What would be your advice that you would share with somebody that's looking at saying, hey, my wife or my husband is looking to come into real estate? What advice would you give them if they're going to work with their spouse?
Sure, Stuart.
Don't do it.
Well, honestly, you do need to be able to get on in that working space because it's challenging. It's not an easy space to be in. And just, have each other's backs at all times. I don't know, I can't blame it, Steve.
I think
it can add a lot of value. It really can. There are so many positives in working together. And like James said, if one of us is having a down day, the other one's there to lift you up. Bad thing if you both having a down day.
we're trying to avoid those.
It's a funny thing that doesn't happen often. I don't know if that's just happening enough, but there are a lot of positives to working together, but there's some challenges like I spoke about earlier, and it's just pushing through that and maybe having different roles. I think is quite important, so you know where you stand within the team structure. That you are in charge of certain things, and you don't. Obviously you're going to cross at certain points, but I think, well, for us anyway, we're quite strong personalities individually. So we need to know our different roles, but you do need to also merge those together.
And I think, we just pick up the slack with each other. So, everybody on this call will know how fluid sales are. You get a call, you've got to get to the property. You don't want to miss the call, pick the phone up. You want to see the property now. That happens with Shelley. I'll go home, pick up Jimmy, makes up or whatever. So we have to have that fluid understanding.
You coaching to that. I must just tell you that it just happened.
Making the stuff.
But we've got everything right now.
You see, this is one of the key things when you're actually working as a husband-wife team, is to be able to finish each other's sentences in such a way that it actually sounded like a fluid conversation. James and Shelley, I want to thank you so much for coming into this particular session. We can learn so much with what you've actually put together in Quebec in your office there, not only from a productivity point of view, but I think it's also going down to the big why. Doing things for your family, doing things for your kids, doing it for Jimmy, also taking it to that collaboration, the give back, having fun. You know, when we come into real estate, it's not about head to the grindstone and just do the sales and forget about everything else. There's a lot more to it. And when you can start to see all of those different elements and put that into your business, you start creating what both James and Shelley have actually created. So James and Shelley, I want to thank you so much. Any final words from yourself, Shelley, before we close up?
Yeah, just go out and do it. Consistency in everything, whether it's sales, building a team, or social media. I mean, I think we hear that all the time. It's consistency, and yeah, just do it. Just go out and do it.
Absolutely. Put on those Nikes, go out and just do it. And James, from yourself, any final words from you?
Yeah, I think we must just realize that we're all people, we're all human beings trying to find our way. And no matter what you think or how successful somebody is, they've only got there with challenges and all sorts of, and people want to share their experiences. So don't feel like you can't pick up the phone if you're not having a great day, or if you need some inspiration, or if you want to talk to a top producer. We're all here to help. Everybody wants to help each other. We'll get there in the end, and persevere. It's really about just doing the same stuff over and over again.
And connect with people. Don't, when you sign somebody up for onboarding, don't just leave them up there on their own. Connect with everybody.
Absolutely. So the big thing, James, Shelley, it's a huge thank you for coming on to this particular agent-led training to really pull back the curtain, understand who you are as individuals, how you've come together, and really where you are right now. And we cannot wait to see where you're actually going through into the future. So from myself, Stuart, I want to thank all of you for coming into this particular session. It's another one of the agent-led trainings. Look out for more sessions that are coming soon, where we're going to be talking with icon agents, ones that have done things that are absolutely amazing, double icons, and even a youngest icon ever. So do look out for these sessions that are coming soon. So from myself, Stuart, you have a fantastic and productive week ahead. Cheers for now.